Hello, Hythe and Waterside people, and welcome to the first Ask the Physio session. So I'm going to crack straight on. I'm looking at Facebook now, so I'll answer each comment individually, and hopefully you'll find this useful. So the first comment is from David. My wife Jan has regular back problems. Last time she went to the physio, he made a huge difference for the better, but at the end he recommended acupuncture. Is this normal? In my ignorance, it sounds like a totally different approach. It is a different approach, but it is part of physiotherapy. Acupuncture has been shown to be very effective for back pain. It is in the NICE guidelines for treatment of back pain. NICE, in case you don't know, is the National Institute of Clinical Excellence, and they regulate a lot of treatments that health professionals provide, particularly within the NHS. And acupuncture is an adjunct to physiotherapy, so just like we might use exercise or ultrasound, we can also use acupuncture. So if that's what the physio is recommending, then yes, give it a go. Having said that, if what he's doing at the moment is very effective, then does he really need to try a new treatment? I don't know. That'll be down to your individual assessment. But acupuncture is a normal part of physiotherapy. So Jamie, your question. Back strengthening exercises. I've got compressed discs L2, 1, 2 and 3. My back muscles constantly spasm, leaving me incapacitated for days. Medications range from tramadol, diclofenac, diazepam, dihydrocodeine. I'm fed up rattling like a tube of Smarties, please help. I see a lot of people with compressed discs. It's a very common condition. As soon as man stood up on two legs, he put the intervertebral discs in his spine under compression. And so it's kind of inevitable that they start to narrow over time. I don't know how old you are, Jamie, but disc problems tend to be more of a problem within the younger population because they're more supple and therefore they're more prone to bulging out. The centre of the disc is more gelatine-like and it's more prone to bulging out in younger people. As we get older, the discs and all our joints generally get stiffer, so disc bulging is less of a problem as we get older. Physio can definitely help. One query would be, have you had physiotherapy before? Exercises would help, and if you log on for back exercises online, they may well help. But really, you would need an assessment because every back is different, every back responds differently to treatment. You're certainly on some very strong painkillers and muscle relaxants, so your problem's clearly quite severe. So really you need physiotherapy, one-to-one physio assessment. Obviously we can help, but if it's not us, then somebody else. One thing to be aware of, we do have an NHS contract. We are a private clinic, but we do have an NHS contract. So if you speak to your GP, you can be referred to us through your GP at no cost to yourself. A bit more of a wait, but not generally too long. Okay, next question is from Sarah. Do you have an opinion on TENS machines as an addition to exercises, specifically for knees? TENS machines are for pain relief, purely and simply pain relief. And the way that they work, it's like rubbing yourself better. So if I bang my elbow, I rub it, it feels better. And the reason it feels better is because you're stimulating non-painful nerves, mechanical nerves, and they rush up, those nerve impulses rush up into the spine and they block out the nerve stimulus. So rubbing yourself better does work temporarily. As soon as you stop rubbing yourself, of course, the pain comes back. Now, TENS machines do have a more prolonged effect as well. They do help to the body to release natural pain relieving hormones, but primarily they work on that principle of rubbing yourself better, blocking out pain nerves. So they are good for pain. They don't deal with the problem, so you do still need to do, if you're a problem with your knees, then you will still need to do knee exercises to build up the muscles. But again, you know, you would need a one-to-one assessment as to what specific exercises you would need specifically. But hopefully that answers your question on TENS. Joe, I suffer from what I think is tennis elbow. I think it began at the gym or when swimming. It took a good year to go, but I'm worried it will come back because I have started at the gym. Obviously I am being very careful. Do you have any advice on what to do to strengthen the area? I'm afraid it will come back. I got to the point last time where it was painful to even write. I have done a video on tennis elbow. If you go to our YouTube page, that's if you log into YouTube and look for New Forest Physio, there is a video on tennis elbow, and I did post one on this particular page as well, so they're well worth looking at. You need to stretch. The best stretch for tennis elbow, elbows straight, and flex your wrist back towards you, like so. You can get tennis elbow clasps, although they're not really the solution. They're sort of a way of easing the pain, but they are available to you. If it gets sore, you can ice it. And strengthening exercises, it's the muscles that extend the wrist, so to strengthen it, I'm sure you probably can't quite see if I lower it there, but if you take a small wrist weight and just lift back like so, or get some TheraBand, and that will help to strengthen your common extensor origin. So I hope that's useful to you. Eleanor, I have injured my shoulder after a day throwing a rugby ball backwards and forwards. It was fun at the time. Next day I could hardly move my right shoulder, and although it isn't as sore now, 5 months later, I still cannot stretch my right arm fully and find it even reaching up to touch the back of my neck is still impossible. Anything you can recommend? This sounds like a shoulder impingement. Now, the shoulder muscle, there's a particular muscle called supraspinatus that moves through underneath the acromion, which is the bone at the top of the shoulder here, and the humerus. It moves through a small space between two bones. And if you're repeatedly throwing, it can get inflamed and trapped between those two bones. And over time that can form some scar tissue. Now the initial inflammation will go down, so it will feel better, but you can often be left with a little lump of scar tissue that can be quite persistent, and it just sits there. It won't get better. In my experience, it doesn't get better on its own. You have to have physio, which involves friction massage, to try and break down that small lump of scar tissue. You can self-treat with exercises using TheraBand. Basically, you stand, which is a stretchy elastic exercise band. You stand on the end and you I'll do it with this arm, you lift up like so using the TheraBand. It will be quite painful initially, but the more you do it, the stronger it gets. But the reason you have to combine it with physiotherapy is because if you risk making it more inflamed if you don't combine it with physio, because physio will do friction massage and ultrasound on that tendon in combination with you strengthening it. So the physio will help to break up scar tissue and reduce inflammation, and then you strengthen it as well. So if simply strengthening it doesn't work, then I would definitely recommend coming for physio, either with ourselves or somebody else. I'm just going to scroll down for the next question. Jane, my 16-year-old suffered bad tendon damage and several small fractures to his knee. The tendons ripped off bits of bone. This was back in September. It still regularly gives him pain and swells, and he is still unable to play football due to the pain. He has had some physio exercises, but they are not helping. Any suggestions? Right, okay, this sounds like quite a nasty injury. So, a bad tendon damage and several small fractures. It sounds like possibly he's torn the tendon off the bone, the way he described this. So a tendon rupture where it where all tendons insert onto bone. So it would insert onto the bone, and where it attaches, it tends to, you have like a lump on the bone. That's normal, and it may well have pulled so strong. He was possibly exercising at the time. I don't have enough information here, but possibly he was exercising, and he's pulled the bone off with the tendon. Possibly that's what's happened. There's not quite enough information here for me to be sure. And that's a nasty injury, and he did that back in September, so we're talking 3 months ago. Well, 4 months now, isn't it? Four months or so. So if it's as bad as it appears to be from your note here, it is going to take him quite some time to recover from that, even though he's only 16. 16-year-olds do get better quicker. It is going to take him some time, and again he would need, I don't know who's shown you these physio exercises, it sounds like he is having some physiotherapy. You suggest that it's not helping. I would suggest that perhaps you're possibly being a little bit impatient about how quickly he recovers. I can only be vague because I don't have enough information to say much more than that, but possibly you just need to be a bit more patient and persevere with the exercises. This isn't going to be an overnight fix. It's going to take some time. Okay, next one, Gillian. I have very painful neck and shoulders, which has got worse over the past few months. Feels like toothache in my shoulder. Please help. The question here is, what's causing that pain? It's come over the last few months. Now, again, I would have to see you individually, Gillian, to be sure about your own personal circumstances, but I see an awful lot of people who adopt very poor postures at work. They're working on a computer all day. The computer might be slightly off at an angle. What I'm doing now really isn't a particularly good posture because I'm slightly rotated to look at the computer. Now, it's fine for me now because I'm only going to do this for 10 minutes or so, but if I was doing this for 8 hours a day, that would certainly start to cause problems. I think you need to look at what you're doing, maybe how you work, your posture, and just be conscious of that. Your workstation, really, everyone should get an assessment these days, but it doesn't always happen, but you want your computer screen directly in front of you, and you need to be nice and sat upright as you work. You need to keep your neck flexible, so that involves just rotating the head side to side, up and down, side to side, just to maintain the flexibility within your neck. Another crucial exercise is a chin retraction. I'll turn sideways on. It's basically tucking your chin in, a bit like a chicken. And the reason for that is we get a bit pokey chinned, and that's a far better posture if you tuck your chin in. So I hope that's been helpful. The Ask the Physio session for today. This is going to hopefully become a regular thing every Wednesday. David's going to post up the hashtag Ask the Physio, so keep an eye on this. And the way I'll probably do it is exactly like this. You post your questions up, and in the evening I'll do a video in response. I'm a slow typer, it's going to be a lot quicker for me to do a video. And if you want to speak to me individually, then please give us a call. It's 023 800 89120, or you can email me, contact@newforestphysio.co.uk, or come and see us. We're based down at Gang Warreley, and we've got another place up at Solent Business Centre. And if I'm available and free, we'll come out and have a chat. So thank you for listening, and until next week.